should be live here. Okay, let's refresh the page. And oh, interesting. Okay, so I am getting. All right, so for some strange reason, all right, give me a hot second. We'll be live in a moment. Well, I think we're live. It's just that I'm getting some strange little advertisements here. Because there we go. That should work. Enter code, SMS code. Remember for 30 days. All right, I'll tell you guys what's happening in just a minute. There we go. Let me put in my Twitch code. Okay, that should do it. Okay. All right. So we are live. Great. Everybody should be able to see and hear me great. Fantastic. I'm going to check my sound real quick. Excellent. Good. All right. So I've just got a brand new computer. That's what took me a little long logging on today because it was I completely forgot it. I've never used this one on Twitch before. So I started getting all these authentication notifications through Twitch and StreamYard and it delayed me getting on. Okay. So we get a brand new computer and there's nothing on it. And then everybody wants to verify that you are real and you're not a spammer. So they give you notification things and you got to answer all the questions. And before you know it, you're late getting on the stream. Hello, good morning, everybody. We got some fun stuff today. We're going to do. So I'm going to share my screen just a little bit. I've got to. I mentioned I've got a brand new desktop, and this will be the first time I'm using it for the stream. Let me bring up Blender real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and now I will share my screen. I'm gonna do something kind of fun today. I thought we might do something having to do with grass, and there's a couple of different ways to kind of do it. Let's bring up Blender and then let's go ahead and share my screen in just a moment. So the new Blender is out. It looks pretty interesting. It looks very, very interesting. Good morning, Mac Nonsense. Okay, people are slowly getting on in here. And let's go ahead, go to StreamYard and share my screen. As I will share the entire screen. Okay, there we go. And let's go grab my Blender application. Okay, cool. Okay, we are on there. Okay, we're gonna have some fun today. So we had we started the building destruction last week, and I promised that I would finish that up this week, and I would do that. Drinking some water here. In fact, I need to go find the file because everything's on this new system. And I think I've got everything kind of misplaced. And I'm going to go, yeah, I guess that's blow it up. Yeah, I think that's it there. Let's go open that up. Let's give it a hot minute. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. So that was kind of the start of blowing things up. All right. So we're going to come on back, bring this back. The meteor is coming through, it's hitting this. All right, so let's kind of go ahead and play it. Play it, let the meteor come through. Let's get a little close to here. It hits it. Of course, we're not getting much of an explosion. I don't mind the meteor speed at all. So we're getting a little bit of an explosion. Not much of an explosion, just a little bit. Okay, so I think we're going to work on that next. We're going to work on the explosion next. So this is, let me see, I'm going to go to my, we are in material mode right now. A good mode to work in, just to, actually, I'm going to go over here to the shading mode. Hitting the Z key on the keyboard, go to our solid shading mode here. That will that'll help speed things up a little bit. Okay, so if you remember last week, what we did, we separate. We're doing controlled explosions, and wherever the meteor lands, we're going to individually select those sections to explode. Okay, so if we get to here, this is where the explosion starts. And what we did was we told the particle system to grab that singular piece and break it up into particle locations. So I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. That's the piece there. Okay. That's the piece there. If I hit Shift H to hide everything else but that piece, that's what we selected out. We're going to continue to do this again because the next steps we're going to do is going to be a repeat of what we did last week, but it's going to complete the explosion. But that's the piece. Then we applied that particle system to it, which is quick explode. Let's see, your browser, there we go. I got a message here. Your browser has last connected your camera. Make sure you have the right camera. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting these error messages coming up here on StreamYard. So I have the right camera selected. I wish you wouldn't do that. So annoying. Yeah, the camera is right, so don't question me. Get these little error messages popping up. And it's right after like I said, so right after I get a new computer, it's just acting crazy. There we go. All right, there we go. So we're going to keep working here. Okay, so we apply quick explode. And I'm going to do it again. Like I said, I'm going to do it again so that you can see the process. And As I move forward, it explodes, right? So what we need to do is modify that explosion, make it look like it's really exploding. And we're gonna go into the particle system. We're gonna kind of explore and explain what it's doing and how it's doing it and all that stuff. So I'm gonna back up here and I'm gonna hit my Alt H to bring everything back. I'm gonna save this as another iteration. I'm gonna call it number 3. All right, and hit save. Cool, number 3. Okay, let's go play. We'll go over here and hit that explosion there. All right. Let's kind of rotate this around a little bit. Let's go to the actual piece. I've got it selected. And we're going to come right down here to the particle system. So a little dot with the 3 arrows coming off there. So I can decide how many of these is going to be. Let's go ahead and hide that meteor. So meteor, hit the hide. Pull this on down. Get a little more real estate in here. And first off, I can tell it how many particles to explode. So that piece that I've selected is going to break it up into particles based on the geometry that's there. So if I come up here and just to show the wireframe view, all those triangular shapes that we see there, it's randomly breaking them up into however many particles we tell it to be. So if I double this and hit 2, it goes back, and then when boom, now I've got 200 particles. It's kind of nice. Okay. And again, the way it falls is just too weak. There's not a real explosion here. So that's where we're going to go to velocity for that. 137, 139, 139 is where it actually explodes. We know that because under the frame start and end is right there. Lifetime, we're going to go longer. Let's go to 250 frames so we don't lose it. That'll be fun. And let's go to our velocity. Okay, so we're going to play with this. I usually, now you can, have it align the velocity shoot out in any particular direction. I wanted to follow the normals of the piece. So I'm going to set this higher. So I'm gonna go somewhere. We'll try 10 just to see what it does. If I tell you what, we're going to try 20. And we're going to play. There we go. Okay, so we're getting a little more velocity. Obviously not enough. So I'm going to take this up to closer to 80. And there we go. We're getting a lot more explosion. So it's still fairly linear in their effect. So I want a little more randomness out of this. So with the normal, we've got some random, I guess a randomized miser, but a randomized here. And we got the object velocity. Um, let's play around with this randomize. I'm going to kind of pull it up a little bit. Let's see what happens. So what I want to do is I don't want to waste time. I want to kind of take it to close to maybe frame 130. All right, so we'll go to start frame 130 here. Just limit to the frame 130. The explosion is going to end. We're going to have this end at 200. I don't want 2000, but 200. Go to my view, frame the whole scene. So in that way, I can just play this through quickly just to see what it does. All right, so then now we can come and I'm getting a little more randomization. I'm gonna give it a lot more randomization. I'm gonna play with this. A little bit of object velocity. Okay, so I want to explore something else. We got a velocity. I'm gonna go to my object. Okay, cool. Display excellent, excellent. So field weights. We got a little bit of a gravity now. We can affect it. So the gravity is 100. And I've got quite a bit of velocity on there. So let me pull the velocity down. I'm going to just explore this a little bit. Let's take that's the randomizer is on. Let's go to the normal. I want to explore something. I'm going to go to 60. I'm looking at my field weights here. Yeah, I want to play with this a little bit more. Sections, okay, viewports, go to our physics. Okay, I want to take a look at some physics. We can play around with some of this as well. Deflections, randomizations. I think that's going to work. We're going to play with rotation as well. So oops, let me go back to my little particle thing here. I'm going to go play with that one. And I'm going to kind of play with a randomization of the particles themselves in the rotation. Give us some randomization. There we go. All right, so just seeing what they do. Kind of pull this around. I'm going to try the phase as well. Just to see, and I'm going to click dynamic here, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. I'm still getting a very linear thing. I'm going to go to the angular velocity now. And that usually, let me go ahead. That's the angular velocity. Let's pull that up a little bit more. There we go. So that's going to cause our rotation to go on. That's a little better. We kind of pull back a little bit and let's see what we're getting. There we go. Let's go. Let's do a little bit more of that angular velocity in there. Let's kind of pull it on over. Yeah, and then we get a little more of a circular rotation. I'm going to play with the mass a little bit. Let's bring that up. See what we're getting there. So they're going to drop a little bit more. Let's play with that mass a little bit more. I'm just playing around with this just to see how this is gonna affect it. Okay. So my gravity is still 1. Let me take I'm gonna come up and play with that randomization again. Let's bring it up a little higher. There we go. That's a little bit more. Let's start over. I'm gonna play around the object velocity here. Let's bring it up higher to see what we're getting. And I'm gonna randomize. Go up here to the velocity. I definitely want to randomize that a little bit more. So let's see if we pull that up. Let's see what we get. There we go. All right. I want to see what it looks like with the meteor. Let's go to the meteor. Alt H. There we go. It's probably a little bit too much velocity. I'm thinking about having it explode out. Or maybe we might even want to kind of play around with the. I'm gonna go to the 40. Let's take it down to 40 here. There we go. Okay. So now I'm controlling the space in which the velocity is happening in with the normals here. I'm gonna try 35. I'm just gonna play with this here until I get something that I like. Get in a little closer. It's gonna be fun to see it with the textures on it and because all the glass is coming out. I mean, we could explore. Hit my Z key, go to material view. Let's actually turn off that selection on there. Okay, they're looking a little bit like they're floating, so we're gonna have to play with this. I'm thinking a little more particles in here that might help kind of break them down to smaller pieces because they're kind of very large chunks. I'm just kind of criticizing this. So let's go back to my solid view. I'm going to go save this so I don't lose anything. Hit the space bar, getting close. All right, so we'll come back to the top. I've got 200 particles here so far. Let's double it. Let's go to 400. There it is. Okay, that's a lot smaller pieces. Let's go 500. And I'm just, I'm just eyeing this, right? There we go. Now we got 500 pieces. Okay. It's floating out there a little bit more. I mean, I can go to the field weights and up the gravity a little bit. But let's see, source faces. All right, so let's go down to velocity. This is what we want to affect. So let's take the velocity down to 30. Let's see what happens. Yeah, now I'm restricting it a little bit more to that area. And I've got some randomization on the velocity here too. Let's bring that down. Let's see what happens. We're going to take it down to 5. I like the randomization on there. If I take this, let's see if I take randomization down to 0, what does it look like? Yeah, it looks too linear. All right. So we got to have some randomization on there. So I'm going to take this. We'll see what 13 looks like. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little better. Okay. So I like that the way it is. Let me take object velocity down to, let's take it down to 0 and see what happens. Object velocity. We get object alignment. So let me play with this and see what we get. Huh. Let's play around with the z-axis. Let's play around with the y-axis. Give that a little bit more. Okay, it seems like it's pushing things along the y-axis now. In fact, let's do this one at a time. We're going to go 0 here. Let's take this up to like 20. Okay, now you see what just happened? Now it's exploding toward the other side of the building. So now we're starting to tell Blender exactly what direction to go in terms of explosion. I think I want to keep it away. Let's see what axis. We're at the world axis here. Let me see exactly where things are located. Okay, so there's my Y. It's moving in that direction. My X, maybe we go toward a negative Y. So if we go into Y object alignment and do a negative 20, let's see what it does. There we go. That's it. Now we're exploding in the direction we want to go. That's a lot better. All right, I want to control the distance, so we'll make it a negative 10. Okay. That's looking great. I think that's going to work. I'm going to try giving it a negative Z, which is going downward, and push it only about a negative 5. I just want a slight little push downwards, kind of sculpting this. There we go. See, now it's bursting out going toward the bottom. Okay. Randomization. I'm going to bring it up a little bit more and see what we get. Yeah, we're getting a little too much explosion. I'm going to take the randomization. Let me try 5 and see what it does. Yeah, that's better. And I'm going to add a little bit of object velocity to this. Let's go 5 there and see what happens. And I'm assuming what that is individual object velocity. All right, I'm going to up the randomization back up to 10 and see what we get. Yeah, it has a lot more, chaos to it. All right, I'm thinking that's still not so bad. So let's take a look at, let's go down to angular velocity. And that's what's causing the rotation the most. So let's take it closer to 15. Let's see what we get. It's giving me a much faster rotation on each piece. Let's do something like 5, see what it looks like. Okay, that's looking a little better. There we go. I think that's much better. I've got the physics type I've got in here is a Newtonian. Um, I'm gonna stick to that one, but if I go to, let's see what none looks like. You're gonna get nothing because there's no physics applied. Keyed, I'm assuming that has to do with keyframes. Boids. Oh, I lost my physics. Okay, where did it go? There we go. All right, we'll stick with the Newtonian. I got the mass in here. Let me see. Let's bring it up past 1. See what we're getting. Yeah, it's adding a lot more subtler. I'm liking that better. Okay, we'll go with this. So we'll go with this. And my next instinct would be, what would it look like if we go to, instead of 500, go to 600 parts instead of 500? Let's take a look. Let's just go explore. There we go. I'm liking that a little better. It's a little smaller pieces. Going to keep breaking it up into smaller pieces. Of course, it's got to hit the ground and hit the landscape. And it's going to bounce off the ground and go into the water. We're going to create all that type of effect as well. Okay. All right, we got it. So I think I like this here. So I'm going to save this one. And we're going to go on and we're going to do the rest of this. So let's go back. Let's stop it here. All right, so 139 is when that hits. Now, as that moves forward, I'm going to hit the arrow to the right key to move the keyframe. Go to 1, 2. Okay, so now what's going to happen is it's now going to hit this portion of the building. Now we got to destroy that. So with that shrapnel, remember we put everything inside this little shrapnel folder. With that shrapnel selected, we're going to turn it off just to get it out of the way visually. And we're going to go and start selecting the rest of this, the pieces that that this is falling on. If I go to X-ray mode, like so, looking at the side, looking at the meteor on the inside, kind of get an idea of what I'm going to select here. Targeting the building, go to edit mode. Okay. I'll pull it back a little bit, make it easier to see. Hit the C key on the keyboard, and we're going to paint. I will hit the escape key. All right, because remember, I'm in X-ray mode. I want to be in that mode there. If I get out of X-ray mode, you get to see exactly where things are. Okay, I think that could work. Go back into X-ray. C key. I'll paint a little bit more here. Escape key, pull out. So a lot of this up here, I don't want to select. So the C key, and then hold the Alt key down, and that'll take away from this section. Escape key. Make sure I'm in X-ray mode here. C, Alt. See, that definitively takes it away. All right. Hit the escape, rotate it around. Yeah, let's go to this here. That looks pretty good. All right. So that's it. That's going to be our selection. That's going to be our next selection. So hit the P key for part. We're going to select that out into a separate part. Go back to my object mode to select that part right there. Hit my M key to tell it to go in my shrapnel folder. And as you can see, it's called shrapnel number 2 now. And we're going to apply the quick explode to this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my object. This is kind of cool. All right, object, quick effects. And if I right click over quick explode, I can apply it to my quick favorites. So what that means is every time I hit the Q key on the keyboard, it shows up right there with the mouse. So I'm going to click it, and I've got an error message. Don't know why I have an error message for that. So I got the object selected. And I'm going to check something real quick and go to my particle. Oh, okay. There it is. Don't know why I received an error message, but it worked. So what I want to do is apply that same particle explosion system that I set for the other. And I should be able to copy it pretty easily. Grab a quick drink of water here. All right, so let's go back to object mode. And I'm going to turn the other one on. So Alt Z. Okay, so that's one destroyed section there. Alt H should bring up the others. So let me get this set up. Bang, bang. Okay, let's go back into my shrapnel folder. It's turned off, turn it on. Okay, so this is the one with the great explosion, right? That's the one we want. We want to apply it to the new one. So I should be able to select that one, shift select the new one, which has the particle explosion that we like. Hit Command, or not Command, but Control L for linked, and copy the modifier. So they both should, there you go, they both takes on now. What I'm concerned about is this. what I'm concerned about is this. If I select this one here and go to my particle system, what I'm noticing and what I didn't notice before is, let's see, the velocity. Let me go back up to the emissions. Is 139 frame start. If I go to the second particle, let's go right up here, or the second shrapnel, number 3, is also showing up at frame 139 because it's copied all the properties from the first one. And I don't want it at 139. I want it probably right about frame 143. So we have to physically come here and put in 143 for both. So I'll just click and hold and drag over both and put in start this explosion at frame 143. Okay, so now you look, nothing's happening yet until we get past 143, and there it is. Now it's breaking up. Okay, so this is working great. That's the workflow we want, but we have to go in. You have to remember that we got to go in and change that frame start and end. Hit a bang, and then it breaks apart. Okay, we're going to continue that through. Now that you have that FYI in there, you remember that because you're hitting them, you're controlling a sequence of explosions here to there, and then we're going to go all the way through the building and hit the other building as well. Kind of fun stuff. Boom. Now it's really exploding fast. Wow. Okay. So that's changed real quick. All right. So I've got to make some more modifications. I didn't expect that to happen. I've done this like 50 times. I was able to control each section, but now they're reacting to one another. So let's do this. Let's control its velocity. Let's go to the first one. And let's see if we can go adjust our velocity, which is currently 30 on the normal. Let's take it down to 10 and let's see what happens. All right, that seemed to help. that really improved it. Yeah, I like this much better. Bang. Okay, that's not bad. All right. So I want to check. I want to stop this. I want to select the other. And the velocity is the same for both. So here's also what's happening. Something else I forgot. Not paying attention here. When I'm selecting these, I've changed the frame location. All right. Let me go to the first one. Frame 2. All right. See, the frame is all 143, and there's a reason why. I changed the frame and start to 143. What I forgot is that number 2 there is telling me that I'm using the same particle for both, or the same settings for both. I need to separate this out. So let's before we do anything, let's go to the first one and let's tell it to go back to 139. Okay, that starts. Oh, sorry. I want them both at 139. So I'm going to select them both. 139. Okay. So frame 139. So they're both going to be at 139. Now, I need to separate this out from the other. Keep all the settings, but separate it out from the first one. So in order to do that, go to my second one. I'm going to come right up here, go to my shrapnel, go to the second shrapnel, and I'm going to click that number 2. And that's going to make it a completely separate system from the other. So now this one can be 143. Actually, I want 143 on both the start and the end. All right, now let's test it out. Bang, there we go. There, now you can see they both react to different time frames. That's what I forgot to do. All right, and let's go ahead and test it out. There we go. Pull it back a little bit. Take a look at it. All right, so we got one more portion of the building to do. That's looking great. That's behaving exactly as I would expect it. All right, let's go to here, and let's do the rest of the building. This is going to be fun. All right, so let's go ahead and turn off the other 2 shrapnel just to save headache. You can see it's hitting the rest of that building there, so that's going to be pretty easy to do. Go to my X-ray, go to the building itself, go into edit mode, hit your C key for your paint tool. We're going to come in here and we're going to paint all this section. Out. I'm going to go over to the side here, and it looks pretty good. Hit the C key again. Oops. Bring that back. And I'm going to just kind of carefully take this out. All right, let's paint this right in here. Escape key to get out of that mode so we can rotate around a little bit. Don't need to select that top portion there. So C key, hold the Alt key down or Option key. That'll shortcut for taking it away. Cool. Okay. And bring that back. I think that's going to work. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of this mode. I'm going to go back here to get my timeline. All right, so we're at frame 144 now. Hit the P key, put that in zone selection. Let's go back to our object mode. Select that shrapnel there. M key, put it into the shrapnel folder. And let's go ahead and apply. Hit the Q key on the keyboard and apply Quick Explode. Don't know why it's giving me this error, but it's working. I already know it's working. Yeah, it's working. So if we get out of here of our mode, it's exploding there. So I want to apply the last one. That's selected. So keep remembering, this is 147. We're going to keep that in mind. So I'm going to turn on the last one here. Shift selected, Command L, copy the modifier. So it's got the same modifier. So, but it needs to be at 147. And if you take a look at this modifier, we're going to go over here and select that last one here. It's got a number 2 right next to it in the particle system. Remember, I forgot about that earlier. So I'm going to click it, and now this is going to make it a completely separate independent particle system, not being affected by the others. And I want this one to start, what do we say, 147? So we'll put 147 and 147 for both. Okay. So now, if I turn on the other two, 1, 2, 3. There, see? They're all independent timed independently. There we go. That's kind of cool. All right, bring it back a little bit. Let's play it. Boom. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay. So we got to put smoke and stuff coming out of there too. So that's coming up. At 11 o'clock. Perfect timing. It's going through that other building as well. So this one's done. We're going to get the camera here. I think I'm going to come underneath it and get it to follow the asteroid like this from underneath, and all the stuff's going to be falling down toward the camera. That's going to be fun. So is everybody ready for Thanksgiving? I wonder, where is everybody today? Apparently this browser is having problems with my camera connection. All right, so let's go play. Crash. Turn everything off. In fact, let's go to material mode just to take a look at it. Okay, that's not too bad. So, of course, we're going to have to eventually put some particles in there to get different types of effects, probably some fire effects. I might want to randomize the breakup a little bit too. So some portions can get greater amounts. So I can, if I'm thinking about this, let's go over here to each one. If we go to our first one, that particle, that skyscraper 2, maybe give it 800 particles. For the 3, maybe we'll give it close to, say, 500 particles. All right, so 2 is 800, 3 is 500, 4, we'll go something like, since it's only a little bit, we'll go something like 300. I'm going to save it. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that's a little better because each section is going to have a different amount of particles. That looks a lot better. So you don't want them so consistent. Like a slow motion crash breaks it up. All right, let's go back to solid mode. And let's go play with this. So let's stop it. Let's go follow our meteor. And go to this building now, see if it's even hitting it. It is, but not until it collides here. Hit the back arrow key right there. So we'll start with this here. This is what's fun. It's kind of like blowing stuff up. Zero key. I'm going to go to edit mode here. All right, go to X-ray mode. Seems like I accidentally selected a section here, but that seems to work fine. Hit my C key. Escape, bring it out. Obviously, I did too much. So I'm going to just start over again. There's my little meteor right about there. Hit the C key and just quickly paint this area out right about in there. All right, escape key so I can rotate around. And I'm going to get out of X-ray mode to see exactly. That looks good. That looks real good. All right, we'll go with that one. We'll go with the P key, hit it, selection. Once the selection is done, go to object mode so we can directly select it here. M, and put it into the shrapnel box. Now that will be shrapnel number 5. So at this point, it's going to be pretty easy. Just come over here, hit the Q key, quick explode, ignore the error, so it doesn't matter. And then what I'm going to do is probably pick the last one that I did over here. So if I bring the timeline back a little bit, I can see, let's see, I can select on each one. I'm going to go do this one here. So come back and select this one, shift select the last one, Command L, and copy the modifier. Okay, so we got to change the timing because it basically brought all the properties from this one over to this one. And of course, our timeline is going to be in the wrong place. So if I play it now, they're both going to explode simultaneously. This one I don't want to explode until it hits there. All right, which is 157. All right, so we'll go ahead and target this one. Hit that 2, make it its own separate. And we want frames 157. So come with the frame start and end, select them both. Frame 157. That's where that's going to start at. Oops, I got 1057. 157. Welcome everybody. And share also in the chat box where you're from and the weather and what is the weather like in your area. Love to hear about that. So who just jumped in? A few people just jumped in, but they're not showing up on their names are not showing up on my chat. So I think it might if you guys chat in the chat box. But anyways, okay, so this is gonna start at 157. Oh, that's kind of interesting. All right, let's see what's happening. Oh, I did it again. How in the world did I do that again? Okay, 157. Enter. Thank you. All right. So, boom, there it is. Okay. You got this, similar velocity and explosion. So what I would do is I'll make this one smaller amount. So this is a number. I'm gonna give this one about 200. So it's a little bit lesser amount. And then as I go through the rest of the building, I'll give that a little bit more shrapnel. Just strategizing this. All right, so 157, come on through to 161, and we'll turn off the other previous three there. We'll keep that one on. And we'll go back and we're going to create more shrapnel here. So we're just about done. We're just about through this building. And then, of course, we're going to have to start strategizing particle effects, smoke effects, fire effects inside the building, stuff like that. Everybody's starting to walk in now. So, yeah, share in the chat box, say hello in the chat box and share where you're from, what the weather is like where you're from. All right, so we're going to hit here. I'm going to create another shrapnel section here. So tab key, go to my edit mode, hit my C key, and I think I'll make this using the scroll wheel on my mouse. I can make it a little bigger. And I'll start painting this area here like so. Escape key, get out of the paint mode so I can rotate around. That other shrapnel is in my way, get it out of my way. I just hit the eyeball or H key for hide. So I'm gonna come over here at an angle. There we go. Go to X-ray mode. C key, pull it out like this. Okay. And hold down the Alt key. I can paint away the sections I don't want. There we go. I think that's going to work. Let's rotate that around. I think that might work. Let's turn off the X-ray mode to kind of get a nice visual. Probably this in the bottom here is probably not going to be affected. So hit the C key again. We'll scroll that down. Alt or Option. Okay, that works. I'll pull it right about here. C key, hold Alt or Option and pull it on down. All right, I think that's going to work. Hit Escape key. All right, that's going to back up here. And let's explode this now. So take this one, this little piece here, and go to the P key on the keyboard to break this out as a separate selected piece onto its own 3D layer. Hit the selection. There it is. Tab key, object mode. Select that object right there. You want the same explosion effect as the first one that we had. So we'll turn that one on real quick. In fact, before we do anything else here, let's put this inside the shrapnel folder. So M as in man, hit the shrapnel folder. There it is. It's coming in as number 6. As you can see there, we'll turn on number 5, which is the one right beneath before it. Shift click on number 5. So number 5 is highlighted with a bright orange. Then Command L for levels. This is your copy of data, copy linked, and then copy that modifier. Boom. So as you probably already are aware of, they'll happen at the same time because that's what was established in the previous shrapnel. So the previous shrapnel, if we select it, starts at frame, if we go up here to the top, 157. Our new shrapnel, we want it to start at frame 161. We could go to 162. Now, stick at 161. Visually, it looks about right. So, with this selected, I have to come over here, hit that 2. And down here in your frame start and end, click and drag it. 162, right? We go back, 6-2, and enter. There we go. So now, boom. Isn't this fun? Isn't that great? Now, don't forget, this one's the same amount of geometry as the previous one. So with this selected, we're going to go back down to our particle system, and let's go give this about 800. So make sure 800 is in there. Now we'll test it. Yeah, I think this works. All right, it's about time for a break here. It's going pretty fast. We're pretty much done. Let me take a look at the building. We're pretty much done with the destroying the buildings. They're all done. So now we can go on to something else. So before we go to break, let's go ahead and turn everything on visually. Pull this on down. Turn the eyeball or the monitor on for the shrapnel folder. And again, it's all that we put this in the group so I can turn them all off or on at will. Bring that on back to the beginning. There we go. So we have the shrapnel. So it's got to hit the ground and bounce off the mountains and bounce off the ground. We have to establish that next. Then we have to establish, the explosion. Make a big explosion inside the building with fire and smoke and all that stuff. So that's coming next. So fun stuff, isn't it? Everybody's quiet today. No one's writing anything in the chat. You have to talk to Steve. I think I can still use a little more randomization in here in some of these. In fact, I can probably break up, if I think about it, if I stop this for the time being, we can grab this one, we'll grab that one. And this one, let's give it a little more velocity. So we'll come back down here to our particle settings for that one. Let's give that a little different velocity than the others. So I got 10 here. Let's do 20. Okay, so now let's see. Crashes. That's interesting. So the meteor's going through, the velocity is changing kind of the location. If I go back to 10 like I had before, yeah, let me do this again. Watch it very closely. All right, I'm going to have to change on the timeline. It hits there. There is when it should start breaking apart. Hit here, hit the period key on my numeric side, or jump in, fill the frame with your selected parts. Come over here to the timing on this. So it's starting at 140. This is 140. All right. So I want this to start at one earlier, much earlier. So select it, frame start and end, put in 140. That works. Yeah, that's better. Mo better. Much, much better. So shift arrow key to the right, to the left, sorry. Boom. That's better. All right. So when we come back from break, we're going to establish, the ground, physics to the ground, where the shrapnel will be hitting the ground and bouncing everywhere. And then we need to apply some type of smoke and fire to the buildings. As they hit, they explode. Okay. All right. So let's bring up, let's go ahead and bring up our timer, 15-minute timer. Scroll down. All right, 15 minutes. I will temporarily mute my mic and be back. So we've got 1 minute to go, and I've got to fix my camera. Let's see if I can get to the. I think it's a browser problem. Yeah, there I am. Cool. 1 minute to go. And maybe this doesn't like the virtual background or something. Let me blur it out. See what I get. I hit the blur option, and nothing's happening. So I think it's just. I think it's just a background issue. Cool. All right, we're ready. I was ready. Got my coffee. I'm happy. I'm really happy. I didn't have. I forgot to make my coffee before the broadcast. Okay, cool. So hey, you guys get to help in this. Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you're from. Where are you guys from? Ace is here. Yay! Where is Ace is up here? I just saw it. Wouldn't the particles go away from the asteroids? Yeah, but we haven't addressed the physics in terms of what the particles are going to be bouncing off of yet. And we've only established the breaking up of the particles. So that's definitely and that's a good suggestion. Let's definitely start addressing some of that. We're at that stage now. All right, so I'm going to be playing with this as well, and you guys get the help. So throw questions into the chat, throw comments into the chat, interact with me here because it gets really boring when no one's interacting with you on Twitch. So that's you guys' job to interact. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to turn off my little camera thing real quick to go to full screen so you can just see the entire interface here. I can always come back anytime, all right? I can always come back in. Now, this is new. StreamYard never had to overlay like this before. So that's new. And I have an edit button here. What is this? Edit the layout? Okay, that's something different. So I'll just do that later. Oh, that's kind of nice. We'll cancel that for now. We won't play with that for right now. All right, here we go. Let's go have some fun. All right, so what we're doing is we're doing controlled explosions just for all those who just walked into the room here. Controlled explosions. So if the meteor is coming through, it's hitting this, it's hitting that one. In fact, here, let me just turn everything off and let's go to Z key and turn on the material view. In fact, let's also turn off that annoying wireframe view there. Okay, so we're not in render view because it's going to take a little bit more graphics power, and of course I'm connected. My graphics card is connected to StreamYard, which is taking up resources. I definitely want to do some more editing to the actual surface of the terrain. I want to add a displacement map to the terrain. We'll deal with that a little bit later as well to give it more realism. So let's go bang, 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 all controlled explosions. All right. And it's going to come down. It's got to hit the surface of the mountains and come down the mountains. Okay. So it's a 250 frame thing here. So let's see. I mean, we have to extend this a little bit more. So if that hits there and that hits there, what we could do is increase the gravity. I think. What do you guys think? Increase the gravity so that they can fall a little bit quicker to hit the ground. I think it will do that in real reality. Let's go ahead and hit 300. Right about there. Let's go to my view menu and frame the scene frame. from 150 to 300. All right. I'm not going back to 1 to 300 because I don't want to waste time, right? I want to kind of do this quicker. In fact, I can probably start this about 136. So we'll go to 136 just to save even more time. Time is money. As I always tell my students, time is definitely money playing around with 3D. All right. And if I play this, boom, 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 boom. Okay. I want to definitely introduce some gravity. We got this, the materials are on. So it's probably, the resources is probably draining a little bit on the graphics card. This is a new computer. It's got a 3060 in it and TI. And even though I'm going to go ahead and up here, I'm going to view the frame range here. Even though it's a great graphics card, you want to conserve on memory as much as possible. Okay, let's go play. Okay, I've got that frame right. We're going to let it go through. I'm also going to go get out of here. Let's go back to solid mode. Oop, get out of that render mode. There we go, solid mode. We can go to, I don't want X-ray. I want to go to solid mode. There we go. Okay, that'll be a lot more forgiving on a graphics card. So nothing's interacting with one another at all. Now we can get the particles who want to interact with one another. So let's go to each one. We only have what? 5 sets of particles here. So we'll go to this one here. We'll scroll down to the bottom and let's go to the physics. We'll keep that the same. Let's see, render, children, effector. Let me go down below that. That's my vector groups, texture, animation. There is a section here. Here, let me stop it. Let me let it stop playing. We'll kind of take it to there. All right, so integration. I'm going to take a look at this because I'm forgetting stuff here. Deflection. What I'm looking for is self-collision. That may be in the fabrics option. There's your cache. Don't forget about the cache. You can always bake that. We'll do that in a little bit. Right now, let's see, my cache should be set. I don't think it's set for anything here. Go to my source. All right, faces, emit from faces. Okay, I want to check. I'm looking for the self-collision option in here. Actually, I thought it was right in here in this particle section. So let me just scroll through real fast. Viewport, render, field weights. Okay, there's my gravity. I might want to, let's deal with the gravity right now. Let's add 3 and let's see what gravity does. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning. See if it brings them down a little quicker. Yeah, it does. Okay, let's bring them down a little bit quicker. Good. It's going to hit the sides of the mountains before it gets to frame 300. Okay, that's good. Because we wanted to hit the mountains. That's good. That's that gravity. That I can change that gravity anytime. I'm going to go with that for now. I need to go into the particle system, and I believe it was at the top. Target, physics. I think it's under the cache. Let me go down and get the cache. Up. Now just there. Am I missing it? That's my. Oh, that's why. Silly me. All right, we got to go actually select the damn piece. I thought it is selected right there, but it's not selected. All right, something's going on. Nothing's selecting here. All right, so let me save this just in case Blender wants to crash. Okay, this done. I should be able to go from the beginning and select any of these pieces. Maybe what I've got, interesting. So I think Blender is giving me, that's before, there we go. That's what I want. I want the whole shred, and I want number 2 right there. And if I select it, it's being stubborn visually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out Blender. Got it saved. I'm going to close out Blender, reopen it again. So I think it's just giving me a little hard problem. This is the new 4.3. So in case you guys didn't know, it was just released 3 days ago, this week. So blender.org, let's go there. And we've got under our download section, 4.3 is out. It is fresh, hot off the press as of this week. So go grab it so that you're aware of that. Let me go open Blender again. I'm working in 4.3. There we are. Go to Blender 4.3, open it up. All right, and then let's go open our recent file, blow it up, number 3. All right, so what is this? This is very strange. I should be able, okay, so nothing's highlighting. I know the overlay is on. Did I accidentally take something off here? Let me see. Objects, extras, relationships, origins. Let me go check one other thing. No, grids. All right, so there. That was the wireframe. All right, very interesting. It should have given me an orange outline around my subject without the wireframe being on. If I go to the overlay, turn off the wireframe, it turns off. This may be a new functionality in 4.3. This has never done that before. Before I was able to turn off the wireframe and select the object, and I would get a highlight around that object. So that may be a new functionality. I'm going to guess that's what it is. So I can't figure out why else it would do that. Just like this shape there, that's what I want. All right. Now with that shape selected, let's go back to our particle emitter. And I want to check something out real quick. I want to, okay, the frame start, frame end for all the particles is there. I'm going to go to my cache. Is right here, and I want to check something else out. Okay, let's bake everything real quick. And let's see if we get a different result. I want to see exactly how this is going to look. Okay. Now let's play it. All right, so we don't have any collision objects in here yet. So Ace Hoffman made a comment about, shouldn't they be kind of moving with the asteroids a little bit? That's because we have not yet made the asteroid a collision object. The asteroid is just passing through the geometry at this point. So if I make it a collision object, those pieces should bounce off that asteroid, even kind of, move with its velocity a little bit. Okay. So far I'm liking the falling of all the geometry. If I come up here and select them all, so we can just kind of see them all highlighted like so, then we know we kind of get a better view of what's going on here. So let's go and create our collision. So I'm going to stop it here. We'll just go back, shift arrow key to the left, goes back to the first frame. We're going to select our ground. We will go to our modifier, all right? So that will be here. And we're going to go to generate. We're going to add a physics. Not going to go to generate. We're going to go to physics. And we're going to add a collision. And that's pretty much all you need to do. We can adjust the collision properties, and that's going to be right here. This little circle, orbiting circle around the blue dot there. So that's going to be where you're going to edit all your physics. And you look in here, you got the stickiness, the dampening. The dampening is going to affect the bouncing. So if you want less bounce, usually when you start up Blender, when you add this as a collision, there's a lot of bounciness to the in which you're going to which I anticipate you're going to see next. Like here, it's going to hit the ground, and let's see. There they are. They're bouncing up in the air. They're bouncing up in the air like crazy. So that's where the dampening comes in. It dampens of that bounciness effect. It's usually a good idea. See, they're all bouncing up in the air. In fact, if I go here and select them all once again, so you can see them, when they're highlighted, they're much easier to see. There you go. And they hit the ground and bounce, 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 bounce up. Bounce, 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 bounce. Okay. And the same thing is happening here. Yeah, they're sliding down the cliff. Sliding down the cliff. Sliding all over the cliff. Okay, I want to control that bounce, so let's stop it. Okay, let's go play. From here, select that surface, go down to your properties, your collision properties. Again, that orbiting circle right about there. And we're going to add some dampening. How much dampening? I don't know. We'll just add in 5, right? We're going to, or is it 0 to 1? You can't go past 1? All right, I'll tell you what, we'll add in about, we'll go 0.3. Okay, we'll do 0.3 on there, and let's see what happens. Let's go play it. And what I need to be doing also is I got to recache it. I think. I'll tell you what, let me play it and see what happens. There we go. There we go. Good. It's hitting the ground quickly. It's a lot still bouncing. I probably need to recache it, don't I? So we got to select the particle. And I'm going to deal with this first set. In fact, let's turn off the others because they're distracting. So we're going to turn off from 4 all the way down to 6, including 3, and just deal with number 2. There. Then what we're going to do is that once I get what I want, Now that's going through. That's very interesting. That's going through. Let me see what's happening here. Okay, so this we've got that one's going through. That's very interesting. I wonder why that is happening. So let me go to my um, go to here. Landscape. Let me see. I've got my. This is my friction and stuff. So let's soft body dynamics. Here's my. So there's my particles. Let's go ahead and select the particle emitter, which is going to be right there. That one right there is my particle emitter. Okay. All right. We need to come down here and turn off the cache. So we got to delete all baked cache. That's probably the problem I'm getting there. Okay. Now let's give this a try again. So let's go bake all dynamics. Now, the reason we want all dynamics, we don't have to have all dynamics right now, but I've got several emitters in here, right? Which is right here. That's all the shrapnel. All these shrapnels are emitters. And if I don't want to waste time going to each one of them and saying bake, bake, bake for every single one of them, that bake all will bake them all for me. But I don't need to worry about that right now. So I'm going to hit the bake because I'm just going to deal with this one selected. Let's see what it does. So if we hit this one, there we go. Okay. So that was the problem. The reason why it was passing through was because I didn't delete the bake from the previous test we were doing before. So these are bouncing up like crazy. So let me stop it. I have it selected. Now, in order to access these controls again, I've got to delete the bake. So delete that bake, and now they open up. Now I can come in here and make more adjustments. So even on this, I should have, let's take a look at this real quick. I remember, and I'm kind of going to go through here and take a look at all this. Let me come down on my physics tab for this one. Okay, so nothing there. So I'm going to target this here, and we're going to play with the stickiness, and we're going to play with the dampening. So let's bring the stickiness up about 0.3. Let me see how far that will go anyway. So if I slide it all the way to the right, oh, I can go up to 10. All right, so I tell you what, why don't we take stickiness down to up to 3 and play it. So I've got to cache it. And I want to bring the dampening up too. I want to control that bouncing. So there's my stickiness here. There's the dampening there. Let's take the dampening up to 0.6. Okay. Okay, so that's good. Let me click on here on the inside. That's about all I need. So we're going to go to this particle, go back to the particle tab, bake it. All right. And then let's go ahead and play it. Go to the beginning. There it is. Okay, let's see. Let's watch these particles. There you go. A lot less bouncing. Okay. So let's get in close. Play with this. Get in here. Let's inspect them, how they're hitting that ground. Yeah, that's much better. That's not more acceptable. Okay. Still a little bit, it's still a little too much bouncing, huh? Probably I would say let's go play with the stickiness. Okay. So we got to go delete the bake, right? Get rid of that, stop it, delete the bake. We already did. I'll do it again just to be safe. Let's go to the landscape itself. Go back down to its physics dynamics. Stickiness was 3. Give it 6. We'll double it. Okay, we'll just do that one. Okay, we'll just do that one and see what happens with the rest. It's always it's just a smart idea to do that. Do one thing, and once you get used to Blender and its physics engine, you can do a lot more. You can do a lot more at a time. So let's play. Yeah, do you see it sticking a lot more now? It's sticking a lot more. I probably still want to add some more dampening to it. Boom, starting to stick a little bit more. Still a little bit of a bounce. It's kind of hitting pretty hard. So with that selected, let's stop it. Okay. And let's go adjust the bounce, the dampening. It's 0.6. Let's go to 0.8. Let's go to 0.8. I want 0.8. See if that helps. And then I might bring up the stickiness too. Let's take it up to 8 also. So we'll just increase them both. Okay. Let's go back to my particles. It's right over here. That one right there. Select it. Go to my particle emitter and delete that bake. And now let's bake it. Rebake. Hit space bar. Before I hit the space bar, let me get in closer so I can observe this correctly. Pull it on out like this. This is good. Okay, play it. Yeah. That's a little better. That's a little better. I still think I want a little more stickiness to this. So I'm going to go stop it, delete all the bakes. Let's go to my ground, go back to the ground dynamics. Okay, cool. Let's see. We got comments. Yay. Yeah, okay, so we got some comments. I love it when people have comments because we get to chat a little bit here. Yeah, I heard about modal dying. Absolutely heard about modal dying. The the foundry killed it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it basically was a Lightwave program, and it's a if it's gone, Lightwave should take a lot of the Moto workflow and integrate it. You think that might happen like what too? Boy, aren't you encouraging? Surely Lightwave is too great to die. I love it. It's still industry standard. Yeah, Lightwave is still being used in the industry. It's not like Maya, but it's still used in the industry. And Blender is fast approaching. Blender is already starting to be used in the industry, and it's fast approaching. It's definitely way surpassed Lightwave, and it's catching up to Blender. I mean to not catching up to Blender, catching up to Maya. Blender's made some very interesting improvements. So yeah, so you switched to Blender at your studio. Very interesting. What studio are you working at? Out of curiosity. Is it a gaming studio, or is it for movies or commercials, or is it what you're doing, and it's just out of curiosity? All right, so when I see a comment in the chat, okay, game studio in the UK, okay. Yeah, Blender's making well. Just to kind of give you an idea what's happening with me, pretty much all my jobs are all Blender. Um, I'm the official Blender instructor at Studio Arts. I'll show you this. It's pretty cool. Studio Arts is a training. It's a training school for seasoned professionals. So if you've been in an industry in a long time and you want to upgrade your skills, um, Studio Arts is it .com? I think it is. Yeah, here it is, Studio Arts. So I'm the official Blender instructor here at Studio Arts. Here, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put it in the chat box for your convenience, so you can kind of go check it out. There we go. Let's see. Used to work at a studio that did commercial, and in that industry, Blender is still very niche. Yeah. Um, but at Studio Arts, I teach all the Blender classes. So the Blender classes are Blender 101, Blender 201, Blender 275, which is grease pencil, and Blender generative AI. That's a fun class. That's one I proposed to the school. And I actually let's see, one, two, three, yeah, five classes. And the fifth one is the Blender character rigging and animation. So I'm teaching all the Blender classes there, and they're fun as hell. They're fun. They're 8-week classes. Well, most of them are 8-week classes. Some are 4. Um, the rigging is 4. The AI is 4. But all the rest are 8-week classes. Well, actually, 275 is the grease pencil is a 4-week class as well. But the 101 and the 201 is a. Now we're getting ready to propose a class on modeling, Blender modeling. So it's going to just specifically deal with and address modeling in all different types of scenarios. So let's see, what are you working on today? Okay, so today I am working on dynamics inside of Blender. So basically, the concept is a meteor is coming from the sky, and we just kind of guess we basically just got started on this last week, and we're creating controlled explosions. As the meteor hits the building, the different portions of the building that the meteor hits is going to explode, right? So we're not applying a fracture plugin that when it hits, because with a fracture plugin, well, fracture plugin has a tendency to fracture everything. Of course, you can tell it what areas to stay stuck together. But what I'm doing is applying, telling it exactly what to destroy, how to destroy it. It's attaching particles to every part of it. So if I turn on all the rest of them there, you can get to see. Let's see, I'm missing one right there. Okay, you get to see if they're getting close here. If I see it hit, each one explodes as the meteor comes through. See that? And then this one, bang, bang, and those come out. So they explode only where the meteor hits it. Is what I'm doing right now. Now the meteor I have not applied any dynamics to it yet. So in other words, there's no collision to the meteor. That's what I'm gonna do next. We just applied the collision to the ground. So we get the shrapnel hitting the ground. All right, as if I hit this, it's going to hit the ground, and as you saw before, all the shrapnel is going to bounce up and around everywhere. Okay. So now that we've applied it to the ground, all the pieces are going to hit the ground and interact in such a way. I want to up that stickiness a little more, see what happens. And I want to bring dampening up a little bit more. So I'm going to stop it. Select the ground. Actually, I need to select the particle. I'm gonna go to that first one first. I'm gonna turn off the others just so it's less distractions. Come back down here to the particle, and I'll say delete all bake. But I want to come up. I want to go to the ground again. Go to the physics for the ground, or the collision physics for the ground. I got the dampening of zero point 0.5. I think we're going to up that. We're going to up that dampening. I thought I had upped it up earlier. We're going to go up to 0.8. That's the dampening. You know what? And I want to randomize the dampening. Let's give that a try. Let's pull that up a little bit and see what we get. That'll make it look a little more realistic. Stickiness is 8. And I've got friction. Now I can up the friction too. I didn't think about that at first. So let me bring the friction up a little bit. And let's see what it looks like, okay? All right, we'll select it. Let's go and bake it. Bake. Yes, I have tried geometry nodes with dynamics, and I love it. I'm still learning a lot about it. My intention was to do grass today with geometry nodes, but I forgot that I promised everybody I would finish up this tutorial, and then next week we'll do something on geometry nodes. So definitely be here next week. Geometry nodes is very interesting. It's gonna be fun to work with. All right, let's go test this out. Let me go back here, hit that there. Let's get close to the ground and see what happens. So it hits it, and yeah, there we go. A lot more control. You see, and getting a lot more pieces sticking to the ground too, because you want some that kind of stay on the ground. And that friction really helped. So we'll stop it. Actually, let me go and delete the bake again. Let's grab that ground and go to my dynamics for the ground, and let's up the friction a little more. Okay, so we'll go something close to 6, and that dampening, I got the randomized dampening on, but I'm going to pop that up a little bit more. All right, okay, and let's go select the particle, come back, bake. So baking is basically physically rendering these frames. Okay, so can't wait for next week XD. Huh? Talk to me about XD. Let's see. The next question was, do I still use Lightweight from time to time? No, not much anymore. I'm pretty much focusing my efforts on Blender, because it's a very deep program, and I want to become very proficient at it, because that's going to help me professionally. And otherwise, see, this is much better. Look at the way they're falling now. They're actually starting to stick to the ground. Less bounce. We're getting some sticking to the ground. That's what I'm looking for. I want to get it to stick a little bit more. So I'm going to delete that bake again. Let's see, where's my delete bake? Right there. And let's go to that surface, go over here to our dynamics for the ground, and just up that friction a little more. So bring it up to 0.8, I think, something close to 0.8. Bring the dampening up a teeny bit more. Okay. I like the randomizing on. I'm going to keep that where it is for now. So let's go select the particles so we can get access to our baking. Bake it. Okay. I'm focusing a lot on Blender and Unreal Engine at this point. So I think those are two that's going to be really important. There we go. There we go. That's better. They're sticking to the ground a lot better. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Okay. We're done playing with that. So let's just go and turn these on. So while these play, I've been drinking coffee here, so I'm going to run to the restroom real fast and then come right back. But I'm going to let this play so everybody can see the effects. I'll be back in 15 seconds. I am back. That was fast. All right. Okay, so looking at all my particles, let's see how they're all reacting. Yeah, they're reacting the way I want them to react. Okay, I'm going to stop it and we're going to delete the bake. I'm going to do one more just to be safe. I'm going to extend. Let me come down here. It may not be in here to be exact, but okay. I'm going to extend my frame to 400. Give it a little extra time. Go to my view menu, frame the entire scene from up to 400, and let's go bake all dynamics this time because I want all five dynamic emitters to be considered. Now, if you notice, my timeline is starting to slow down a little bit compared to before because it's got five dynamics to be thinking about right now. It's coming up. Is everybody ready for Thanksgiving? Who's ready for Thanksgiving? That's what I want to know. All right, cool. It's all done. So shift to the right. Let's go in the blender, activate it by clicking on it. Shift arrow key to the left, and we play it. Okay, let's go take a look. We got 400 frames this time. It's going to hit the ground. Okay, looking good. I want some of it to fall off the ground and go in the water, but I want some of it to stay on the ground too. Okay, that's better. Okay, I think we can go with that. All right. So the last thing we're going to do is we need to apply dynamics to the meteor. So Ace Hoffman mentioned that shouldn't they be reacting to the meteor? They should be. We have not told the meteor to be a collision yet. Okay. So we'll select the meteor. We'll come right over here to my modifier, add a modifier, add a physics, make it a collision. Now, I suppose we all know the bounce, what happens when we create a collision. The bounce is kind of strong. We'll let it stay that way for now. I may want to increase the dampening on this when we come down here to let me kind of cascade up these other modifiers because I've got a subsurface modifier, a displacement modifier on that meteor, several displacements actually, and then I have a collision. There's my collision there. So if I go to the collision properties, I'm probably going to want to play with the dampening here, but let's see what it looks like. We got to cache it. Let's go to, I'll just select any one of these. Let me go to my number 2 right about there and come down, and we're going to delete all baked. Okay. Now we're going to bake all dynamics. It's going to go through. It's going to do its baking. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to this question here. We don't have Thanksgiving here. Oh, okay. Where are you from? I think you mentioned it earlier. I forgot, didn't I? Where? Oh, you're from the UK. Okay, then no, you wouldn't be. You wouldn't have Thanksgiving. But if you were visiting us, you could. So let's see. What do we? Okay, let's see how this works. Let's get in close. I'm hoping this is going to work, guys. Oh, I'm hoping it's going to have some visual satisfactory result. Because remember, if we put dynamics on a meteor, remember all those particles that was falling on the ground? It might get knocked elsewhere, and we may not like it, right? So let's see what happens. Ooh, yeah, there you go. See, look at that. It's following the meteor now. Because remember that bounce that's on that meteor? It's kind of crazy. All right, so we got to go to the meteor. Let's select one of the dynamics, and we're going to come down here and tell it to delete all baked. So we're going to have to put on that meteor. I like what's happening. So I'm digging what's happening. Okay. So what I want to do is with that meteor, I definitely want a lot more dampening. So I'm gonna take that all the way. I'm gonna take it to 1 just to see what happens. Then let's go ahead and cache this. Bake all dynamics. That's caching. Let's let it bake. Give it a minute or 2. Okay, so you're saying you're going to visit Florida in December. You can have a late Thanksgiving. No, December's Christmas time, dude. It's Christmas time. Thanksgiving's way over here. We're done on Thanksgiving, right after Black Friday? The week after Black Friday, we're done. We're on the Christmas shopping. All right. Let's see what it does. Let's see what the dampening does. Hit it. Well, I still get shrapnel coming down. The hitting the surface is interacting with the surface. Yeah, I like it. I'm liking it. All right, it's still bouncing too strongly off of the meteor. So if Ace Hoffman wanted the if Ace wanted the meteors interacting, he's definitely got the meteors interacting on this one. So let's go back. Let's stop it. Let's get the delete all the bait again. Let's stop the play. Select our meteor. We'll hit our shift arrow key to the left. Select the meteor. Come over to the dynamics. Dampening is high. And I tell you what, let's just take that friction really high. We'll take the friction really high. And stickiness, I'm going to bring it up kind of high. So it's going to absorb all that impact. So it's like in Star Trek, we're putting inertia dampeners on the meteor. All right, so it's going to hit things, but it's going to absorb the impact. So there's not so much bouncing with the meteors. Okay, so let's select one of our particles. Let's go over to our particle emitter and tell it to bake all dynamics. And there we go. It's baking stuff now. Let's see. Let me turn that off. Let's bake it to see where it goes. It's thinking. I'm gonna have some more coffee while it's working. All right, so let's go play. Let's get in close. Let's get up here. Let's see what it does. We'll go from this side now. Take it from the top view, maybe at that angle. Yeah, that's a lot less bouncing, but the particles are dragging with it. Other particles are falling on the ground. It's really dragging some of these over here. Okay, I think that's gonna, I think we can go with that. We can go with that. I think we can start thinking about the fire and smoke now. Um, Shift, hit this here. Let's turn it on. You know what I want to do? Let's set up the camera. Okay, let's get the camera set up. We're going to take the camera to here. I'm thinking put it right down over here. You'll see why in just a moment. And if I want the camera to jump to how I'm viewing this scene, Control Alt or Option, Control Alt or Option 0 on your numpad. Boom, there's your camera right in the exact same location where your perspective is. Once your camera is there, I'm going to kind of zoom it in the way I want it. Place it kind of where I want it, right about. Bring it into here, something like this. Bring it like this. Okay. I want that camera to stay on this meteor. Okay. So I need to come up here to the top and get my camera. Select the camera, and we're going to add a constraint to that camera. Second icon from the bottom is that little blue pulley wheel. And if I drop it down and grab the track 2 tracking constraint, I can tell it to track the meteor. I don't know if I've named it meteor or not. Let me take a look at it. Let's go select it here. It's called rock. I'm going to rename it meteor. Okay, and let's go back to the camera. Here, track to what? Track to the meteor right there. See? So wherever that meteor is, it stays boom, boom. Okay, so I want to get more underneath the meteor. So I like where it is here. Let me go to my timeline here. Crash, 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 crash. Okay, so I'm going to take the camera, move it a little more to here, move it down a little. Oh, crap. Hate it when I do that. Okay. Move it over just a little bit, and maybe just move it down a little bit to get a little further away. And maybe move it over here like this to get that framing right there. Okay, so the camera is right. So let's go. If I go back further, crash. We're going to follow that meteor out, all the way this way. Okay. Isn't that cool? All right. I'm thinking the composition of this coming in from, let's take the camera, let's move it. Oh, I guess I can't. So I'd have to, if I bring it from the meteor here and I bring it back, if it stays there, I want to keep that meteor up here. I may have to put a null in here or an empty. Okay, you'll see why in just a moment. Let me go back because I want to play with the composition of the piece, and I want the meteor not to be dead center. And I've got the camera following the meteor, so it has to be dead center. I suppose what I could do is, let me go over to the camera constraint properties. I've got an influence here. Let me see what the influence does. So if I take it down to 0, there we go. We can do this. Okay, so I was thinking of bringing an empty, parent it to the meteor, and just offset it a little bit, and then parent the camera to the empty, and then move the empty where I want the camera to be. That might be wiser. Let me see what this influence does here. I'm going to pull this over to there. Let's say I want this to come kind of like from the upper left third. So I'm getting more of the building. So from here, boom, pull it across, and then, yeah, I don't like that. The influence is not working. All right. I was just exploring what it does. So it's not going to work, obviously. So I'm going to have to use my the technique. I'm going to go over the technique where I'm going to bring in an empty. Shift S, place the cursor to select it, which is the meteor. Shift A, let's go to our empty. And let's use a different type of empty. Let's use a cube. Okay. And I'm going to hit the S key to make the cube bigger. Huh, that's interesting. Let's go over here. What's going on? That's my empty. That's right. Okay, there it is. S key, make it bigger. Why is it not getting bigger on me? This is kind of strange. If I hit the, let me get out of this camera mode, go to here, and hit the period key. Huh. It's really coming out here. Maybe. All right, resize. What's going on? If I hit the period key for that, it's going out even more. Okay, maybe it's huge or something. Hold on a second. Okay, this is freaking me out here. All right, so let me go here. Let me go to my meteor real quick here. Period key drops into the meteor. Okay. Now Shift A, making sure that I'm in my object mode. Let's go on and add in an empty. And I wanted to add in a cube empty. Okay, I'm going to my X-ray mode here. Okay. Hit the period key. Is that the, all right, so if I hit the S key, this is very interesting. Having some weird things happening today. My empty is that the empty? All right, that's the empty there. It's really tiny. Is it that tiny? Oh, maybe it is. So if I come over here, let me go over here to my sizing panel, the scale, and let's say 100. Let's up that scale on that meteor, on that empty. Is it? Huh, that's really odd. Why is it doing that? Empties don't ever disappear when you bring it in here. Let me bring it up here, put it into the scene. There's my empty outside the folder. Empties normally show up, just fine without a problem. But why in the world? I thought it was because it was too small. So I started making it larger, which there's no effect happening here at all. Now, if I go to the item tab, it's showing me that I'm 2000s. I'm huge. If I pull back to see if it's actually overlapping my entire scene, I'm not seeing anything. Very interesting. Okay, so this is let me hit the period key. Now it's showing my type. When I hit the period key, it zooms into anything that's selected. When I select the empty, it's saying it's big out here somewhere, but it's not showing me the empty. Now I'm wondering if this may be something with the new 4.3, which I'm running. All right, so this is what we'll do. Let's see if we'll approach this another way. Let's pull, if that's the empty there, let's pull this out. Okay, that's the empty. Let me go to my options. Let me see if it maybe I've got something turned off for the display or visibility or viewport display. There, okay, something's going on now. That's the name of the empty in front. That's the axes for the empty. Textured. Wireframe. Okay, so this, I'm chalking this up to be a bug. I'm going to go over here to the empty properties. If I select that empty is for data, right there, it's 1 meter in size. Let me make it huge. I'm going to make it 1,000 meters just to see what's going on. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my empties in here. Very, very odd. I never had this problem. Usually an empty shows up. It's there. All right, if I take this and take it down to 1 meter, you can see it go smaller. So for some reason it's invisible. If I take it to 10 meters, maybe I can still use it. So what's happening is, even though I'm telling it to be a cube, it's showing up as my 3D widgets. For example, if I go to Shift A and go to empty, I can show up as arrows, right? It's showing up as arrows. For some reason, the actual shape is not showing up. So, and I've got options here. I can show it up as arrows, like so, which it already is, or I can show up as a sphere and it's not changing. So this is a bug in the 4.3 I think I found. So I'm going to go back to arrows. We'll just stick to that for now, okay? So I'm going to see if this works. So that's my empty, I'm going to call it empty dot camera. So after experimenting with this, it's starting to look like it's a bug. All right, so, and we know that because when we go change it from arrows to an image or to a cone, or it's not reacting at all. So we'll just keep it at arrows. We'll stick with that. Go back to my camera view, and I'm going to take this, and I think I want this to point over here because I want the meteor to be placed right over in here. So let's go to the camera itself, right? And then I'm going to go back to my constraints and tell it not to choose the meteor as a target, but the empty. I think I called it the empty dot meteor. So if I just type in EM, is that what I called it? Empty dot meteor. I probably didn't. Hold on a minute. I thought I renamed it that, but I probably didn't. Oh, I know I did. I called it empty dot camera. Empty dot camera. So there, meteor, empty dot camera is there. See, it moved over. So now the meteor is going to be exactly where I want it to be. I want it to come in the left-hand composition of my frame. So if I take the empty dot camera and select it, I want that to be parented to the meteor. So it's selected, select the meteor last, and then Control P and keep transform. That means keep it where it is. So now if I play this, oh, you know what's happening? Because the meteor is spinning my camera. Oh boy, okay, so maybe I'm just gonna match the location and not the rotation. I've got to do that. I've got something going on with that's the meteor. Let's see, nothing in the comments. Let's put that there. There is, let me go, let's take that off. I'm going to my camera. I thought I would be able to track that. So that's going to be parented to the camera. Now we may have to manually track it. So that's interesting. I actually have parented to the meteor before. So let me go to the camera. Let's go over here and let's track to the camera before I had it tracking to the meteor, right? There. So if I play it, now we're going to watch this for a second. I want to grab an animation I was working on. Let me go grab it. I've got it on a thumb drive and just in the room next door. Let me go show. I'm gonna let this run a little bit, and let me go grab that thumb drive because another media animation I was working on. I really wanted to show you guys. Okay, so I just realized that it's on my old computer and it's off in the living room with the case open. So forget it. All right, I had a much better. I wanted. To, I was. I'll have it for you next week. But here we go. So if this works, if I track the meteor, that works. So what's interesting is I didn't expect that to happen with the empty, because if the meteor is spinning and the camera is targeted is tracking the meteor, I'm not getting any of those spinning effects with the camera. So having it track the empty, I should not have got a spinning effect. At least that's what I anticipated. So I need to figure out, do a little more research and find out what's going on here. So there it is. That's basically the view that I wanted. And this is not a bad composition. I suppose I can track it a little bit to the right or left, but I'm going to play with that ideas and think of a solution for it. Maybe use a track location and avoid, but that's not bad. Okay, so that's coming through, coming around, coming out. All right, we'll go with that for now. Let's go to. I want to see this through the material view here. So select the material view. Crash. Okay. That's cool. I'm probably going to want the meteor to kind of keep going further out, but I'll figure that out later. All right, there we go. So now let me take this back to the first frame, back to 0 or 1. There we go. And I'm going to go the view menu, frame the scene range there, so I can go all the way back. So there we go. So there's the meteor, crash through it, and out. So once it crashes, we're going to have to start adding in explosion effects. And I think that's where I'm going to add in an object. Let me go back to just the regular perspective view. So right about here is my object. So I'm going to have it crash right there. That's when the explosion is going to happen. So I'm going to add in there something that's going to explode into fire and smoke. I'm going to add Shift S, add my 3D cursor to my meteor. Let's go to my solid view. Select the meteor. Shift S, 3D cursor to the meteor. And then I'm going to add a sphere in there. So Shift A, mesh. We can add I suppose a sphere will be fine. A UV sphere will be fine. I'm going to bring it down to like 16. So I don't need that many sides. Hit enter. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this box here. All right, so I'm going to bring this out. Wow, that's really tiny. Maybe my universe is so big, I didn't realize it was that large. Actually, I do realize it was that large. I forgot. So we did this according to human height. So this is proportional. So actually, you bring this in the Unreal Engine, and it's going to be accurate to human proportion. All right. So if I hit my S key for scale, see how quickly that scales. That's how quickly I was expecting my my empty to be. Okay, so that's going to be my fire emitter. It's going to fit right in here. It's going to fit inside. It doesn't have to be so big. I can scale it down a little bit like so. Shift Control A. apply rotation and scale. Let's see. I might want to go to wireframe view. That'll be easier. Pull it on over a little bit. See what we're getting. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the domain. So we're going to do it quickly though. So we're going to go here our object. We're going to add a quick effects, and we're going to add a quick smoke. So if I right click on it, I can add that to favorites too, right? So if I hit the Q key, quick smoke is there and apply it. There it is. So immediately around the ball, I have a domain. So I'm thinking a lot of this smoke is going to happen within probably this area outside the building and inside the building. So I'm gonna go to inside the domain, go hit the tab key, go to edit mode. Our ball is still right there in the middle. And I'm gonna hit the S key to pull it out like this. So that's the area it's going to affect. I'm thinking it's going to be larger, something larger like this. And smoke is probably going to go up a little higher. So I will pull that on up like so. If you look at the camera view, yeah, we're not going to see. Go back using my arrow keys on my keyboard. Probably pull it outwards a little bit more. So go back to the 0 key, select all. I'm going to extend it, scale it outward a little bit more, but not higher. So S key for the scale, shift Z to restrict it from going up on a Z axis and pull it out like that. Okay, just give myself enough room to play with here. Now get out of my, go into object mode. Let's see what I'm seeing so far. Okay, it's hard to see it, so let me get out of this X-ray or this wireframe mode, go back to solid. All right, I gotta stop this and go see where it goes back to my ball. Smoke domain. So I'm gonna put this all in one folder. I got the smoke domain and the sphere, which is right there. So I'm gonna select both of those. M key, put it into a collection called Smoke and Fire. And we obviously are not going to finish this today. We're going to finish this up maybe next week. Next week is Thanksgiving holiday, so we may end up taking that Friday off, as I would assume that most people will not even be here. Curtis Rhodes, it's great to see you again. Shark 8, welcome. And I've been speaking to Shillum, welcome. And Magnosins, I said hello. Okay, so let's go here. So, what might be a good idea is to take the building And matter of fact, we can probably turn off the shrapnel, right? They're in their own group there. Get out of X-ray mode. Hit the period key to get in close. Okay, so we are, let me go to the domain. Did I turn that off? Nope, I did not. So there's a domain there. So we're going to come down here to my properties and select. There's the dynamic is gas. If we look down here in the corner, it's giving me the size of each of the smoke. So the resolution of the smoke. I'm gonna keep it 32 just for now. I'm gonna want to go to 64. That I already know, but I want to kind of keep it, fast and clean for now. Because as we only have like 4 minutes left on this one, and I'm going to hit a shift key, go back to the arrow key, shift arrow, left arrow to go back to the beginning, and there's my smoke. Okay. So if I play this, there's the smoke. You can see it outside the building. It comes on. So I need to tell that smoke to last the entire frame. Let me come down a little bit. I want to go find. In fact, let me go target the smoke itself. That's the emitter, the smoke emitter. Particles go to here, flow, smoke. I think I want to use fire as well. So I want to use smoke and fire. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. Adding our fire in there as well. I need to tell it when to kind of start. We got our velocity in here. Something I want to do also, I'm going to select my domain. Down at the bottom, I want to go adaptive domain here. This is really nice. If I hit that there, adaptive domain, it's going to resize the domain only as far as it needs to be to render the smoke. It'll resize itself. So watch it closely. There it is. See right there. So it's going to resize itself. Then as it hits it, the smoke comes out. Now I need some velocity on that smoke, right? So you can see it's coming out. Add a little more velocity on that smoke. It's dying out after 200 frames, I think it is. So I need to go extend the frames, which is right here under the cache. Okay. So we want to go 1 to 400. So when it starts over, there it is. So the smoke is just barely coming out of it. So I want to definitely get it to kind of, there we go. See, and it's really hitting its peak later on. So next week I will come back and we will modify the smoke, get it to look like real explosions coming out of here. That's going to be fun. And we also need to modify the landscape. The landscape is, if we come over here to our material view, It's very flat, fake looking. So we want to definitely take on the displacement of the trees and the stones and the rocks and all that stuff. Isn't that fun? Wasn't that fun? Let's see. I've got. Let me turn on the shrapnel. Turn that on. There we go. Let's turn off the wireframe. There we go. Let's take a chance and let's go to render mode. The smoke is not right yet, so we won't get that right until next week. Right now, it's just letting out a puff of an expanse of smoke all around the building that's dominating the building, which is what we don't want it to do. We want to add a lot more transparency to it and interact with the building with fire in the middle. With the domain selected, we'll do one last thing for the render mode. Select the domain. And if we go to the render properties of domain, because it's not rendering the fire in render mode for a reason, and that we have to go in and modify the material for that domain. So smoke domain material, let's open up the surface area. Open it up. Let's go to my settings. There they are. And there is an option to viewport display. I don't think it's in there. Volume. It's under volume, silly me. There we go. Go under volume, and we want to go right down here to black body intensity and pull that up to 1. And there's your fire. Okay, so let's zoom in. So we're in this render mode. So I'm going to get out of this render mode. And the smoke should be kind of being pushed to the top of the domain as well. So it looks like a big giant piece of cotton candy right now, which is what we don't want. But we'll do the rest next week. All right, that's it. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Isn't that fun? I'm going to take this out of, get this out of here, go back to solid mode. Command S, save it right now. So now we can see our fire in here a little bit better. The fire was going on in here, but it was being covered by the smoke. And then we'll correct this. It'll look a lot more interesting next week. Then we also need to put smoke and fire on the meteor itself. So there it's exploding. And taking a chance, let's see, if I go select the domain and improve upon the resolution of the domain. Go right down here to my physics property. If I go to 64 instead of 32, and then I'm going to hit the shift bracket and left arrow key, you should see a little better looking render than what we had before. It's slowly coming out. And it's kind of starting right about here, 100. There we go. So upping that resolution helped. That was a fun one. That was a real fun one. So we can come in, we can modify. We have absolute density here in our settings for a smoke. Let's see if we turn that off, see what happens. Goes to close to 100, then it's going to start to come out. And something else we need to have, there's the explosion. Then there's something called, I'm trying to remember what it was called here, but the fuel is interesting. That adds a lot of fuel to the fire. And say we go, 1.3. See that? Look at that. Just goes crazy. I'm going to start it again, shift arrow, left arrow key, and see what it looks like. So it really explodes out, doesn't it? All right, so let's do, just for fun on that one, we got the fuel 1.1. Shift arrow to the left. Let's see what happens. All right, so I tell you what, why don't we go to go to the fuel, and let's give that like 0.3. Shift arrow key to the left again. Actually, that's adding some interesting effects. I'm going to go 0.03 for the fuel. Shift arrow key to the left. Let's see what happens. Oh, nothing's happening. Okay, shift arrow key to the left again. And we're at 0.03. So I assume we had all that happening before. 0.03 will be better. So, okay, maybe that's not enough. Okay, stop it. Let's go back to the beginning. Shift arrow key to the left. And let's do 0.09. And see what we get. See if we get anything wild in here. All right, so now it's acting kind of weird. Because the explosion we were getting before, so basically we're going back to 0.1, 0.2. And we should have an explosion. Shift key arrow to the left. Yep, there we go. Shift key arrow to the left. Now we're getting our explosion. It's thinking. So I got to play with this. All right, I'll play with it. I'll come back with some nice settings. I think everybody will like. There we go. That's cool. I got to tame the smoke down and the fire as well, but mostly the smoke. That's right. So Ace Hoffman says, or maybe the week, yeah, it'll be the week after we'll meet again because Thanksgiving is next. The weekend's next Thursday and Friday. We got Black Friday sales. And I'm probably going to be busy doing something. No class Thursday. I got Thanksgiving dinners at 2 places actually. And then on Friday, what am I doing Friday? I don't know what I'm doing Friday. Probably exercising Friday because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need a lot of exercise. All right. So, everybody, thanks for being here. And we have more little Blender magic coming up every week. I got some interesting not particle nodes, but geometry node stuff I've been learning. So I'm eager to share that. And we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. All right. So not next Friday, but the Friday after. All right. We'll see you then. Have fun, guys.